and welcome. Tonight, residents hit the streets of Minna, the Niger State capital, in protest over high cost of living, block major roads within the metropolis. State government bans mass purchase of grains from local markets in the state. Economist and Chief Executive Officer Financial Derivatives Company Limited recommends increased productivity and blocking of leakages in the system as some urgent solutions to economic hardship. The Federal High Court Abuja refuses to grant bail to 5 Port Harcourt-based men charged with terrorism by the Inspector General of Police following the burning of River State Assembly building. And gunmen kidnap passengers traveling in 2 buses from the eastern part of the country to Abuja. Security operatives in Kogi State launch operation to rescue the victims.
And on business news tonight, the Africa Development Bank is set to commence the disbursement of agro-industrial funds, beginning with first 8 states in the first phase.
On sports news tonight, fans in Hong Kong angry and disappointed after Lionel Messi did not play in Inter Miami's 4-1 win over a local team.
And from Abuja, federal government approves new radiotherapy and nuclear medicine facilities for 6 federal teaching hospitals to address cancer care and treatment in the country.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is making another visit to the Middle East, his 5th trip to the region since the 7th of October.
To arrest the situation, forced them onto the street. Here's their cry. Meanwhile, Governor Umaru Bago has banned mass purchase of grains from local markets in the state following the protests, explaining that the government is not unaware of the hardship in the land.
Women and youths in the streets of Minna, the Niger State capital, to protest the high cost of living. Protesters blocked major roads within the metropolis in the morning, lamenting the rising cost of food items and government's inability to arrest the situation. Attempts by the deputy governor and his team to address the crowd were at first not productive. Eventually, he was able to get through to the protesters.
His Excellency received a report this morning that yes, there is a group of youths and women that are protesting about the issue of economic hardship. And already the council is on the process. He directed me, the advisor political and the commissioner for local governments, to go and address the youths, because the issue they comes up with is about issue of hunger. And already in one of the items of discussion in the council is about issue, how do you question the economic hardship of the entire state, and how do you relate with the federal governments to ensure that yes, some policy that will come with human face, that our people will not be in languishing of this added poverty. So we have gone there and we have addressed the youths that actually we are discussing to see how we can bring issue of palliative around the state, not only a segment of people that are protesting. And I want to tell you that yes, not in some few days to come, the state government will see into action to ensure that yes, we elevate the issue so that this protest will not continue.
However, later in the day, the governor, Mr. Umar Bago, addressed residents of the state in a broadcast.
The federal government has shown interest. I've spoken to the vice president, I've spoken to the NSA on the current situation, and we're on top of it. We have also sent a lot of security apparatuses to locations where we think are vulnerable.
He also announced a ban on mass purchase of grains from local markets in the state.
Trucks who come to park or buy foodstuffs from our villagers in bulk should be halted for now. We have stopped mass purchase from our local market in all our local government from now henceforth until further notice. Anybody found doing that, we have given security agencies go ahead to confiscate those trucks and share the food to the people.
The state administration also condemned the actions of those who speculate and hoard food in an attempt to profit from future price increase.
The Niger State protest comes days after some women baker lamented the high cost of wheat flour in Cano State. The women who staged the protest said they could not afford to continue production if the prices remain high. In the last 6 months, a bag of flour is said to have been sold at 23,000 naira, but now it's selling at 42,000 naira. By 50 kilograms, a bag of rice now sells at 70,000 naira in the state. Meanwhile, economist and chief executive officer of Financial Derivatives Company Limited, Bismarck Rewane, has been reacting to major economic concerns of Nigerians and showing pointers to how government can tackle the situation. Mr. Rewane, who was speaking on our political program Politics Today, highlighted increased productivity, shutting down leakages in the system, an increase in confidence level for investors as some urgent solutions.
First of all, you have to increase productivity, and that's not a quick win, not a quick fix. But the reality is that I think there's a discussion about the minimum wage. If it is realistic, you have to do something about wage. You have to do something about leakages in the system, and you have to improve the confidence level for investors without new money. And I'm talking about new money in big quantum. Without new money of a magnitude that can save this economy, you are going to be, you are going to face some difficulty, because once economic decay sets in, all you will see is you've been going down the drain. But that's not the case. I think that the question is now, how soon can we turn around? I think the Central Bank MPC meets on the 26th. I think that they will increase interest rates. The effective interest rates will also increase, and there's some policies that are money policy issues that are there. But fiscal policy that incentivize productivity, concessioning the roads, concessioning the airports, and taking government out of all of those sectors where they have no competence. They either don't have the competence or do they have the integrity to run those businesses. Let them get out of there and use the increased revenue from subsidy reduction and the exchange rate realignment. Let them use that to do the things that they have to do.
To the judiciary now, Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon of the Federal High Court Abuja has denied bail to 5 Port Harcourt-based men who were charged with terrorism offences by the Inspector General of Police. The suspects are alleged to have been involved in the burning of the Rivers State House of Assembly building last year. Their bail applications, filed and argued by Lukman Fagbemi, was rejected and dismissed for lacking in merit. Justice Olajuwon refused them bail on the ground that they did not provide special circumstances to warrant their release from remand at the Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja. The judge further says the defendants are charged with terrorism offences which are not ordinarily bailable. The 5 defendants charged with terrorism and crime are Chime Eguma Ezebalike, Prince Lukman Oladile, Kenneth Goodluck Bassa, Osiga Donald, and Ochueje Thank God. Well, the rallies to celebrate the election victory of Governor Siminalayi Fubara at the Supreme Court has continued across the state, with supporters organizing street processions or open-air Thanksgiving services. A similar rally in Ahoda West local government area today almost resulted in a crisis as some youth said to be acting on the orders of the council chairman vandalized canopies and chairs at the initial venue set for that gathering. The program was moved to another location where the council chairman later appeared to clear the air on the allegation leveled against him, while the rally was held successfully after that.
The celebration of the Supreme Court victory of Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State is taking the shape of an open-air service in Ahoda West local government area, unlike in other areas where the supporters took to the streets. They are gathered in Akinema, the council headquarters, to sing praises, dance and make merry. The event records an encouraging number of attendees, including past and serving lawmakers and commissioners, and the representative of the governor. This is despite an attempt by thugs to disrupt the program, by vandalizing canopies and chairs at an initial venue, allegedly on the orders of the council chairman. At this new location, the chairman of the council appears at the start of the program to clear the air on the incident.
I'm sure that the assembly member will inform you and convey the message from the security agents, and our office was sat down and tried to sort out ways to ensure peace in this program. And that way is that we should try and separate politics and what we're doing here.
The leader of Governor Fubara's supporters in Ahoada West and one of the 4 assembly members loyal to him urged the presidency and the police high command to take note of the provocative action.
When we resist, they will declare us wanted, just as they declare my elder brother, my leader, the former speaker, former leader of the House. Right now, he is the chief of staff to the River State government, Right Honorable Edison Ogele. All these are the provocation. When the politicians bring up this provocation and we say, no, we cannot take this, we want to resist them, in our civil rights, they will declare us wanted, that we are criminals. Similarly, Fubara stands for the hope of every common man in River State. Similarly, Fubara stands for development in River State. Similarly, Fubara, whether you like it or yes, to the best of my knowledge, is one of the youngest governors that we've had in this state. And I think what we owe him is prayers.
Governor Fubara's representative, a former chief whip of the State House of Assembly, advises the crowd not to be intimidated by rumors that they are to be suspended from the PDP, amongst other threats.
They should know that we are not afraid. The only thing they want to use, as earlier said, is to intimidate us with security. They have written the names of leaders who are here, and some of you tagging us terrorists, murderers, and just for them to hide our faces. Would it be possible? No.
The supporters also received defectors from opposition party into the People's Democratic Party in support of Governor Similaye Fubara.
We have Barrister.
Passengers traveling in 2 buses from the eastern part of the country to Abuja have been kidnapped in Inele Teke Ogugu New Road in Kogi East Senatorial District. It was gathered that the GIG and ABC transport buses were heading to Abuja from Umuahia on Saturday, and they were hijacked by the kidnappers in Kogi State. Meanwhile, the Kogi State Police Command spokesperson, SP William Ayer, has told correspondents in Lokoja that 12 passengers from the GIG bus and 2 from the Sienna bus belonging to ABC Transport were kidnapped, but the driver of the GIG motors was later rescued by security operatives. He also says the Commissioner of Police has deployed a tactical squad consisting of quick response units, police mobile force, counter-terrorism units, as well as conventional police personnel to the area to continue with the bush combing in addition to vigilantes and hunters. And in Cano State, a 300-level student of Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba Akoko, Ms. Ifeoluwa Adekunle, has been found dead in her room in a house outside the university campus. Her lifeless body was discovered on Saturday. An investigation by the police revealed that she was attacked by yet-to-be-identified assailants, noting that it is suspected to be cult-related. The unfortunate incident was said to have caused panic among the students of the university, especially the female students. According to the neighbor of hers, Ms. Adekunle was stabbed to death by persons who came visiting and dismissed speculations that it was a cult-related incident. The public relations officer of Cano State Police Command, Fumilayo Odulami Omisoya, says that investigation into this incident has started. In part 2, after the break, over 50% of medicines and medical ingredients imported into Nigeria are either substandard or falsified. So says the Director General of NAFDAC. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Residents hit the streets of Minna, the Niger State capital, in protest of the high cost of living, block major roads within the metropolis. State government bans mass purchase of grains from local markets in the state. Economist and Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company Limited recommends increased productivity and blocking of leakages in the system as some urgent solutions to economic hardship. And Federal High Court Abuja refuses to grant bail to 5 Port Harcourt-based men charged with terrorism by the Inspector General of Police following the burning of the River State Assembly building. Gunmen kidnapped passengers traveling in 2 buses from the eastern part of the country to Abuja. Security operatives in Kogi State launched operation to rescue the victims. The fight against regional security cannot be achieved if ECOWAS countries promote sanctions over dialogue, as has been the case in Niger Republic. This is the position of members of various civil society groups at the forum to highlight the implications of ECOWAS member countries going their different ways. The forum urged dialogue to prevent disintegration of ECOWAS and ensure speedy restoration of democratic rule in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's a packed gathering at the indoor hall of the Nigeria Institute of International Affairs, Victoria Island, Lagos, as captains of industry, entrepreneurs, and special guests, including the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, student, and a media gather for the 21st Center for Values in Leadership annual lecture and International Leadership Symposium. The 2-day event kickstarts with the topic Skills-Driven Entrepreneurship, and the keynote speakers, Dr. Adiele Wankwo, a management consultant in infrastructure development, and Dr. Henrietta Onwebweze, an associate professor of entrepreneurship at Lagos Business School, are lined up to do justice to the subject.
We can't continue to program people to believe that you go to school to get a job, because it's not going to yield right results. We have to begin to develop job creators. Let's even look at the results of skill-based entrepreneurship, which is what most of our SMEs are. Most of them are not very schooled, but guess what? They contribute 50% to our national GDP. Okay? They contribute over 84% of employment in the country.
I have spoken to governors about skill acquisition. When you look, and that's where my experience comes in, when you look at great nations, I'm trained an engineer, a planner, and an economist. Those people are not really the people that build the nations. Nations are built by technicians and artisans.
People work a whole...
Not left out are renowned employers of labor as panelists.
What can we do to get the government to be interested to support local production? It's not something that will happen on its own. It has to be deliberate. It has to be intentional.
Most time I do challenge people that if a young man that went to college come out and you give him 10 million naira and give 1 million to a young man that succeeded to do apprenticeship for 5 years, give them 5 years, the 1 million naira guy will overtake the 10 million naira guy.
Founder of CVL, Professor Patrick Tommy, explains why he settled for this engaging topic as he marks his 68th birthday.
People say, Nigeria, naira is collapsing, this is... And I'm hearing all kinds of conversations that don't get to the root of why naira is in trouble. Naira is in trouble because we do not produce. This is something I've talked about for years. But a lazy elite focused on how can we extract rent has not managed to put his mind to it. Now that it's happening to us and we're seeing it, perhaps this is the time to get everybody's attention.
This year's CVL Symposium is a double-header as the conversation constitutes a Tuesday with focus shifting to democracy, legitimacy, governance, and performance.
For more on the news at 10, we head over now to Abuja studios where Gloria Mezoke is standing by to give us the latest. Hello, Gloria.
Hello, Anne. Thank you. We begin in the health sector, where revelations are that over 50% of medicines and medical ingredients imported into Nigeria are either substandard or falsified. Well, this is according to the Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye. Professor Adewunmi says the majority of the pharmaceutical companies in India and China are in collusion with importers to undermine the health of Nigerians, and has vowed to clamp down on these falsified medicines through the reinforcement of pre-shipment testing.
Most of our medicines come from Southeast Asia, and they belong to the member states too. We have a scheme where before medicines that we have approved leave that part of the world, we do pre-shipment testing. And that pre-shipment testing is supposed to come with certificates of pharmaceutical product. Meaning, it's supposed to assure us that what we are getting is good. But that's not the case. Because through our scheme, we have been able to stop over 140 products that we approved. Because we found out that more than 50% of what is called pharmaceutical certificate of pharmaceutical product that come into our country are fake. They fake them. Part of the responsibility is our own people that go to China or India. But we're going to deal with it. And member states, I was at a meeting yesterday evening, we're going to fight for it. It's a member state issue. And Africa is a continent of 55 members. And we're going to fight for it.
In other health matters, the federal government has approved new radiotherapy and nuclear medicine facilities for 6 federal teaching hospitals in the country as part of steps to address cancer care and treatment in Nigeria. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Health, Mrs. Kachalom Daju, stated this at an event to mark the World Cancer Day in Abuja. It was organized by the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment. Our correspondent, Victoria Longjohn, reports.
It's a gathering of government representatives, policy makers, health practitioners and implementing partners to discuss challenges and gaps and explore sustainable solutions focused on improving care for cancer patients in Nigeria. The theme for this year is Close the Care Gaps. In the bid to improve cancer treatment in the country, the government established the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, which officially began operations last year. This institute's role is pivotal in the nation's cancer control strategy.
We have made significant progress in raising awareness about the causes, symptoms, and prevention of cancer in Nigeria. By empowering individuals with knowledge, we aim to reduce the incidence of late-stage cancer diagnosis and improve early detection rates across Nigeria.
The federal government reiterates its determination to see better care for cancer patients and a reduction in prevalence.
The Federal Ministry of Health will continue to play its vital role in the oversight of the policy environment. We will continue to work closely with all stakeholders, including international development partners, civil society organizations, and the private sector, to ensure the effective implementation of the National Cancer Control Plan 2023 to 2027 across all its pillars.
A panel discussion then followed, where participants discussed cancer registration, data collection, and strategies to enhance capacity and upgrade of the National Cancer Registry, amongst other issues.
We definitely know that there is no way we can properly plan a cancer program without data. So it's a good thing that NICRAT is working in that direction. But the thing is that we can't work in isolation. That has been one major problem in the country.
So there's been a lot of comments by government representatives and other stakeholders here today on the need for more collaboration. But emphasis has also been placed on prevention, as this is an important factor considering the financial and psychological impact of cancer. Now it is hoped that soon enough, through concerted efforts by policymakers, cancer will no longer be a life threat, but a disease that can be managed. From the nation's capital, Victoria Longchan for Channels Television News.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, African Development Bank to commence the disbursement of agro-industrial funds begins first phase with 8 states in the country. And that's on Business News. Plus, King Charles III of England has been diagnosed with cancer and begins treatment today. To join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, is promising rapid development from the rural area councils to the urban areas in the nation's capital. The minister disclosed this during the flag-off ceremony for the rehabilitation of asphalt carriageway from Garage Junction to LEA Secretariat, a 5-kilometer road in Kuje Area Council. He explains that the development will not discriminate against party structures in each area council, adding that the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu is for all Nigerians.
It's the turn of the 5-kilometer asphalt carriageway to LEA Secretariat in Kuje Area Council to host the Rural Road Rehabilitation Program of the Federal Capital Territory Administration in the area. The minister arrives for the ceremony amidst cheers from residents. Residents of the area are hopeful that the minister will see to the completion of the projects in the area, as the dualization of the road will reduce traffic congestion and open up the area for commercial activities.
The dualization of this road will in no small measure solve our challenges of perennial gridlock and overflow of drain, especially during the rainy seasons. Your Excellency, we believe in you and will continue to believe in you because you are a role model.
The dualization of 5-kilometer Kuje Township Road will reduce drastically the intractable traffic congestion usually experienced in Kuje, especially during the peak hours of the day. Thus, this will enhance commercial activities and easy transportation of agricultural produce to Kuje market daily.
The FCC administration is promising rapid development from the rural areas to the urban centers, irrespective of party structures.
This has nothing to do with party. This is about governance. This is about touching every rural area, every area council. Whether APC is in charge of this area council or whether PDP is in charge of that, or no party is in charge, we are going to touch all the area council. In the next 1 week or 2, we are going to flag off total renovation of not less than 25 schools. We are going to do that. So we are not just talking about only roads. We're also talking about schools. We're also going to come back to most of our hospitals that have been abandoned.
The minister also speaks about plans for the Federal Capital Territory Civil Service Commission.
The FCT Civil Service Commission will be announced, which has never happened before. It is under Mr. President.
The minister then officially flags off the road rehabilitation. The minister is also hoping to extend the rural road rehabilitation projects to schools and hospitals so as to foster rapid development in the nation's capital.
The Federal Capital Territory Police Command is again warning criminals to stay away from the nation's capital as the command vows to deal with anyone caught perpetrating acts of criminality. Addressing a news conference in Abuja while parading 6 suspects allegedly responsible for the kidnap of a couple in Edo on the outskirts of Abuja, the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Bennett Igwe, says there is a renewed vigor by the police to rid the nation's capital of criminal elements. The FCT Commissioner adds that the suspects, made up of 4 females, 4 males and 2 females, will be arraigned in court as soon as investigation is completed. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Anne, for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Gloria.
It wasn't a happy ending at the 66 Grammy Awards for the 6 Nigerian artists nominated across 5 categories, as none was able to land the coveted Grammy trophy. There was, however, a ray of silver lining in the dark clouds, as 2021 Best Global Album winner Burna Boy gave a good account of himself and Afrobeat music, as he became the very first Nigerian artist to perform on the Grammy stage during the live broadcast.
It was a disappointing outing for Nigerian Afrobeat stars at the 66th Grammy Awards, as Burna Boy, Davido, Tems, Iris Star, Olamide and Asake failed to win from 10 nominations across 5 categories.
And the Grammy goes to Water, Tyler.
The Nigerian contingent lost the inaugural Best African Music Performance trophy to South African singer Tilla, who earned the prize with her 2023 track, Water. 2021 Best Global Album winner Burna Boy and compatriot Davido lost the category this year to Shakti. The World Fusion band won with the album This Moment. The duo did not fare better in the corresponding Best Global Music Performance category, losing to Indian composer Zakir Hussain for the track Pashto, featuring Bella Fleck and Ejemiah. Meanwhile, Lil Durk's collaboration with J. Cole, All My Life, put paid to Burna Boy's hopes of winning any trophy out of 4 nominations by claiming the Grammy for Best Melodic Rap. Tems, who won the first Grammy last year in the Best Melodic Rap category for a collaboration with Future and Drake on the track Wait For You, lost in the song written for visual media category. Her work on the Black Panther theme song, Lift Me Up, performed by Rihanna, lost to What Was I Made For, performed by Billie Eilish for the 2023 fantasy drama Barbie. Nigerian producer and voting member of the Recording Academy, Florenshaw Phillips, popularly known as Fliptice, explained that there's still many positives to take from the 66 Grammys for Nigerians and Nigerian artists.
Sometimes when you get nominated, people don't know how big that is. It's a big deal for out of a lot of artists in the world. And we have 4 artists from Nigeria being nominated, and the video was nominated in 3 categories, Burna Boy in 4 categories. I think that's a win already.
There was, however, a ray of silver lining.
Well, congratulations to all the winners. In other stories, renowned folk singer, poet and dramatist Jimy Shilan has died 59 days to his 82nd birthday. News of his death is contained in a statement by Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State. At an event to mark his 80th birthday in Lagos. Born on July the 4th, 1942 in Ipararemo, Mr. Shilan's artistic journey began as a pioneer member of the Orisun Theatre Group, founded by Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka in 1961. His contributions to the global entertainment industry spanned 7 decades, leaving an indelible mark on various platforms, from Western Nigeria television in the 1960s to international festivals in Senegal and Algeria in the 1970s. He was also a songwriter, performer, visual artist, and storyteller. Governor Dapo Abiodun has described his death as a colossal loss to the theatre community in the state, having consistently put Ogun State in the limelight right from his days in the University of Ibadan School of Drama. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family he left behind. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, says the Lagos Red Line Rail will be flagged off at the end of February. According to the statement by the Lagos State governor, he gave the assurance when he visited the headquarters of China Railway Rolling Stock Corporation in Delhi in China. In the words of the governor, we are ready for the flag off of the Red Line. We're waiting for Mr. President. The president is still promising us this month, February, for us to formally flag it off. Governor Sanwo-Olu adds that the state government has acquired some rolling stocks and the state government has also commenced testing, assuring that all safety measures have been put in place to begin the operation. In the meantime, the governor, on his official X account, says that trains have been checked, production specifications have been finalized, payments have been made, and delivery dates from Delhi and China to Lagos has also been confirmed. Joint maintenance agreements as well as knowledge and skills transfer to be finalized with the team. He's also boasting over 100 years of manufacturing experience, making them one of the foremost and well-known train manufacturers in the world. We have more in the world of business, and Laddie Williams is about to take it. Hello, Laddie.
Thanks, Anne. In business news, the Minister of Finance and Coordinator of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edu, says the federal government is working out a system that will cause a drastic reduction in the cost of food items in the country. According to the minister, besides the conversations that are ongoing, the government is hopeful that the current dry season farming will yield a good harvest, which would boost the government's efforts to cut food costs. The minister was speaking to journalists after a meeting with the German Minister of Economic Cooperation, Mrs. Svenja Schulze, alongside Nigeria's Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Uzoka-Nite.
I think the issue of rising prices is of concern to the government and everybody in Nigeria. And then some of the major steps which I can point out that are being taken to address this issue, because it's an issue of demand and supply. And a lot of emphasis has been placed on increasing agricultural production in particular. The president has intervened in that sector to provide grains, to provide fertilizer to farmers, to bring additional acreage, rice, maize, wheat, and cassava under additional acreage, additional production in order to increase the output and thereby bring down prices, and that will help bring down inflation. And of course, we're in the middle of the dry season farming. We're looking forward to a good dry season harvest that will help to ameliorate food prices in particular and the price level in Nigeria in general.
Meanwhile, the Africa Development Bank is set to commence a disbursement of $540 million in the first phase of 8 states in Nigeria for development of special agro-industrial processing zones. It was disclosed when a delegation of the bank and United Nations Industrial Development Organization presented their separate reports on the status of projects being executed in Nigeria to Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa. Vice President Shettima called for immediate action, saying it is time for the government and its development partners to walk the talk and ensure food security in line with the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the Nigerian people. Speaking after the meeting, the officials of the bank and initiative is aimed at turning the rural landscape into economic zones of prosperity and harnessing the power of commercial agriculture and food. And Nigeria's stock market opened a new week with profit-taking. The all-share index dipped by 0.73%. Willie Bong has the details.
Hi, Laddie. It's the start of the first full trading week in February, and the NGX greased the markets with very strong negative sentiments. And guess which company made it happen? It was none other than MTN Nigeria. The market giant shed some weight today by over 5% to close at 274 naira. That translates about 16 naira in value, quite a lot of its share price. And we also have the banking stocks contributing to this negative performance. It's earnings season, and we've seen some unaudited reports for the full year 2023 coming in from the sector, but I guess investors would rather wait to see the audited numbers rather. And the consumer goods counter is also in the red today. Even though Cadbury's share price gained 10%, it still left that sector gasping for breath from the bear's chokehold. And let's not get started with the oil and gas sector is still bouncing off the negative close from last week. It's unchanged today, and we'll keep an eye on this counter this week. So ultimately, the cumulative of all that happened in today's session brought the all-share index lower by 0.73% to settle at 103,659 points. And not a great start to the week, but let's hope there's a recovery tomorrow. And that's the stock market report. This is Will Ibong, and she's not happy with the bear.
And that's it from me on Business News. Back to Anne with the rest of the news at 10.
British monarch King Charles III has been diagnosed with a form of cancer. The type of cancer has not been revealed, but the palace said in a statement that the king has begun regular treatment. It was discovered during his recent treatment for an enlarged prostate, has not been diagnosed as the prostate cancer. The statement from the palace also says the king remains wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible. Here's Simon Puzzi with more on this and some other news in around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is making another visit to the Middle East, his 5th trip to the region since the 7th of October. His visit comes after the US said it carried out more strikes against Houthi missiles in Yemen on Sunday. The military said it had struck a land attack cruise missile and 4 anti-ship missiles that were prepared to launch against ships in the Red Sea. That development followed joint US-UK strikes on Houthi targets, which the UK says were intended to stop the Houthis' attacks on international shipping in the Red Sea. President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador, credited with driving down gang violence in the Central American nation, says he has been re-elected. The 42-year-old took to social media to say he had won 85% of the vote. Preliminary results later showed him winning 83% with 31% of votes counted. His popularity has soared following a crackdown on crime that has transformed El Salvador from one of the most violent countries in the world to one of the safest in Latin America. He declared himself the winner before the official results were announced, telling his cheering supporters that he had achieved the biggest difference between first place and second place in history. Local authorities say at least 112 people have been killed by forest fires in Chile's Valparaiso region. It is believed to be Chile's deadliest forest fire on record. Many of those affected were visiting the coastal region during the summer holidays. A health alert was put in place by Valparaiso by the Health Ministry. The ministry called for the suspension of elective surgeries and authorized temporary field hospitals to be set up. Rescue services have struggled to reach the most badly affected areas, and the Interior Minister said the death toll would reach much higher figures in the coming hours. Mudslide, flooding and strong winds are battering Southern California in a second day of storms in one of the most populous parts of the United States. Heavy rain of up to 1 inch an hour is expected to hit areas around Los Angeles for at least 24 hours from Monday. The so-called atmospheric rivers causing the storms have already seen swathes of the state hit by rain, wind and snow. A state of emergency has been declared in 10 of the state's counties. Forecasters have said torrential rain is the main risk facing California on Monday. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has admitted the government has failed on a pledge to cut NHS waiting lists in England. The Prime Minister said the government had not made enough progress, but that industrial action in the health service has had an impact. Mr. Sunak made the comments in a Talk TV interview with Piers Morgan. Cutting NHS waiting lists is one of the 5 priorities Mr. Sunak set out in January 2023, along with measures on the economy and illegal immigration.
We all know the reasons for that. What I would say to people is, look, we've invested record amounts in the NHS, more doctors, more nurses, more scanners. All these things mean that the NHS is doing more today than it ever has been, but industrial action has had an impact.
Mobile internet access has been temporarily cut in Senegal, the government has announced, a day after hundreds protested against President Macky Sall's postponement of the presidential election. It had to be done to halt the spread of hateful and subversive messages relayed on social networks in a context of threats of disturbances to public order, said Communications Minister Moussa Bokatia. It comes a day after Senegalese took a private television channel off air, accusing it of inciting violence in its coverage of the protests. Amnesty International's Senegal chapter has condemned the government's actions and urged it to respect freedom of the press and the rights of the citizens to be informed. And Celine Dion made a surprise appearance at the Grammy Awards amid her battle with the rare neurological condition stiff person syndrome.
Taylor Swift.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon. In the world of sports, Lionel Messi's 3 days of adulation in Hong Kong ended in a heartbreak for his fans, as the Argentine playmaker did not take to the field in Inter Miami's 4-1 win against a local league's first 11 in a friendly game played in front of a sellout crowd on Sunday. Spectators chanted refund, and the Hong Kong government says match organizers Tatler Asia may face a reduction in funding after Messi stayed on the bench during the match. Meantime, organizers of the Hong Kong football match, which drew boos after starman Lionel Messi fails to play, say they deeply regret the no-show and will withdraw a bid for a $2 million government grant. Tatler Asia's CEO, Michel Lamounier, read out a statement earlier this evening confirming Messi had been contracted to take the field unless injured in a pre-season friendly in Hong Kong. And let's bring you updates from the Asian Cup now, where Jürgen Klinsmann says his South Korean team are determined to prove the doubters wrong when they face semi-final debutants Jordan on Tuesday. Led by Song Heung-min, South Korea are attempting to win the title for the first time since 1960, but they appear determined to do it the hard way in Qatar. And Klinsmann, who won the World Cup as a player for Germany, is set to yet to win over South Korean fans and media, but say his men are ready to change the narrative. And that's Sports News Tonight. I'm Kelly Egiga. It's back to Anne.
And the main news again. Residents of Minna today hit the streets of the Niger State capital in protest over high cost of living. They blocked major roads within the metropolis. The state government banned mass purchase of grains from local markets in the state. And King Charles III of England has been diagnosed of cancer and has begun treatment today. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawado. Let's now leave you with one of the songs of veteran performer Jimy Shilan, who died today. Thanks for watching.